Now in this lecture, I would like to compare the practice of Yoga Nidra along with some similar practices of yoga. Yoga Nidra, you have learned so many things about that. You know the details and everything. But when you study Yoga Nidra, we definitely tend to compare it with some different practices. Just like Shavasana, that is also a relaxative technique. Then meditation. Yoga Nidra also is a meditative technique. And somewhat hypnotism also. In hypnotism also, the person tries to hypnotize somebody and make some changes. So let us understand the differences between these other practices and Yoga Nidra. And I think you'll feel Yoga Nidra is much better than all of that. Of course, every practice has got its own merits and demerits, plus points and negative points. So we'll study the comparison between all these practices in this lecture. Basically, Yoga Nidra, what is the important aspect of it? It is working through conscious mind on subconscious mind. But the normal function of this system is like this. I have already explained this. I'm just repeating to make confirmation about this. So normally we receive the signals from five sense organs. The signals are forwarded to the conscious mind forwards it to the brain. With that signal, brain interprets the brain interactions with subconscious mind, gets some previous experience about that same signal, and then interprets the signal. And then of course brain reacts. Our body also is reacting accordingly. This is a normal function of our nervous system. The same function is there, but little change. We are listening the commentary through the ears. So that signal is forwarded from the ears, that is sense organ, to the conscious mind. And now in Yoga Nidra, conscious mind doesn't forward the signal to the brain, but it diverts the signals to subconscious mind. So the most important aspect in Yoga Nidra is brain is brain is disconnected to some extent. And brain is bypassed and the signal is forwarded to subconscious mind, and then we can make some changes in our memories stored in subconscious mind. That is a very important aspect of Yoga Nidra. So with keeping this in mind, we'll start comparing. First is Shavasana. It is well known to everybody. And Shavasana also is a relaxative technique for body and mind both. So throughout Shavasana, body and mind is in relaxed condition. Of course, lying down on back and all that, you know the details of it. I don't want to go in details. So this is a process and ultimate result also. Body and mind is in relaxed condition. So you get a relaxation not only for the body but for the mind also. And that's all. Shavasana is limited for this purpose. And we use Shavasana for this purpose only. When we are strained, maybe physically or mentally, we practice Shavasana and we get relaxation. Now as compared with Yoga Nidra, in Yoga Nidra also there is Shavasana for 30 minutes. So body is lying down in a position of Shavasana only for 30 minutes. So we may say that Yoga Nidra is extended Shavasana, because normal Shavasana we practice for 2-3 minutes in our yoga class. Now this Shavasana is for 30 minutes. So it is extended Shavasana for 30 minutes. But something is more in Yoga Nidra. It is not just an extended Shavasana for 30 minutes. Otherwise, in extension of 30 minutes, we just give the instructions for Shavasana only. But in Yoga Nidra, we give instructions for Shavasana in the very beginning for a few minutes, and then the instructions are different. So in Yoga Nidra, mind is active, not relaxed. They first relax, and then it is made active. Conscious mind and subconscious mind also. That is not in Shavasana. Shavasana just relaxation. So we can say Shavasana is a starting point of Yoga Nidra. And body is relaxed in Shavasana for 30 minutes in Yoga Nidra. But mind has to do some work as per the instructions. So mind is active, mind is busy also in making some changes in subconscious mind. That is the basic difference. In Yoga Nidra, mind is continuously awake and is following the instructions whatever is received through the years. Then mind is recording also. Subconscious mind is recording those instructions. And after some time, there is a change in the subconscious mind. So these recordings or the instructions, they change something which is stored in subconscious mind. And that something is decided what to change. Accordingly, the Yoga Nidra is prepared. And then it works. So the resolve and visualization is changing as per the results required. And now the resolve and visualization, they have got a long-term effect on the mind. Sometimes permanent also. So there is a vast change, vast difference in Shavasana and Yoga Nidra. And with Yoga Nidra, we can modify the behavioral pattern of a person by changing the stored energy. Because we change our memories. And memories stimulate our reactions. So when the memories are changed, the reactions are changed. And those reactions which we need to change, we prepare the commentary accordingly. That you know very well. So we can say Shavasana is only relaxation on physical and mental level. And Shavasana cannot modify the mental status or the behavioral pattern. So there is Shavasana in Yoga Nidra, but Shavasana has got a limited function, limited result. And Yoga Nidra is going much ahead than these results of Shavasana. Now let us consider another process of meditation. Meditation also you know very well. Patanjali has given the details, that is dharana and dhyan. Dharana is concentration, dhyan is meditation. And in dharana we concentrate our mind on a particular object. Of course, the mind is moving through the different aspects of the object. Deshabandha chittasya dharana, you know. So it is a concentration on certain object. And if you go ahead of dharana, that is dhyan, that is meditation, then we concentrate only on one aspect of the object. It's very, very difficult process. It needs lot of practice for the practitioner. And very difficult to achieve the targets. It works quite good, rather much better even than Yoga Nidra, but it's very, very difficult. Achieving the target is quite difficult for every person, even a regular practitioner also it is difficult. And let's compare with that, if you study Yoga Nidra, mind has to listen the commentary, all instructions, and the instructions are varied. It's not a one object which is there in meditation. Every now and then the object goes on changing. First you have to concentrate on sounds, then you have to concentrate on your body organs, then you have to concentrate on this resolve, then again concentrate on breath, again there are opposite feelings. So every now and then the object is changing on which the mind is supposed to concentrate. So concentration is there, but it is changing. Object is changing every now and then. There are a number of objects in total Yoga Nidra. But in meditation, we keep only one object, and particularly one aspect of that object, that is dharana and dhyan. So quite different. Process looks like similar to meditation. But when the objects are changing every now and then, we definitely cannot call as meditation. We can say Yoga Nidra is a meditative process, definitely not meditation. Because meditation we need only one object, and Yoga Nidra we use number of objects. And that is why meditation becomes very difficult. But at the same time, Yoga Nidra becomes very, very simple. Because the instructions are there and mind has to follow the instruction. Just change object. The changing object also is simple also and interesting for the mind also. Keeping one object or even one aspect of the object for mind is difficult. But in Yoga Nidra, mind very smoothly flows from the beginning to the end. Rather, mind enjoys all the instructions. And the instructions have got effect on subconscious mind. Meditation has got better as compared with Yoga Nidra, but very difficult. Now, meditation also can be practiced with recorded instructions. And particularly, normally in the beginning, we recommend to use the recorded instructions for meditation also as the instructions in Yoga Nidra. Type of instruction is different. Now, both the practices have predetermined results. Patanjali has already said that if you want this result, you practice on this object. If you want to make your body invisible, you practice on the object of the body itself. Something like that. So predetermined results are there, and those are achieved in Yoga Nidra also and in meditation also. Yoga Nidra also we decide something, that we want to overcome this problem. We want to overcome this phantom pain. So this is predetermined result. Accordingly, Yoga Nidra is prepared and recorded commentary is there, and then it is used. So this process is similar. But actually meditation results in extrapolating the hidden powers of mind. Very interesting result is there for meditation. Mind is very powerful, but we cannot make use of those powers. Meditation makes us to use the powers of the mind. That is not happening in Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra, we are not increasing the powers of mind or utilizing the powers of mind in our day-to-day life. Yoga Nidra only we changes the mental status. Stored memory is changed, and that affects the behavior pattern. So this is on a very primary level, we can say. So meditation works on very high level. And that levels are very, very high also. So we can achieve some siddhis or miracles through meditation, which is definitely not possible by Yoga Nidra. The results of Yoga Nidra are quick. Within few days you get the results. And no efforts. Practitioner has to do no efforts. Just listen the commentary and you will get the result. Meditation, it is not possible. Results are very high, very powerful, we can say. But practice also is very high and very powerful. That is the basic difference. So we can say Meditation is much better than Yoga Nidra, but it is very difficult than Yoga Nidra. It may achieve larger results, powerful results. But if you want to make some simple results, just like changing the behavioral pattern, is a simple result. This can be achieved in Yoga Nidra very simply and very thoroughly and very smoothly. So for such different results, we can make use of either Yoga Nidra or meditation accordingly. Whatever we want, we can select. Both are good, both are yogic practices. But Yoga Nidra has got limited results, but quick. And meditation has got very powerful results, but very difficult. Now let us come to the third practice of hypnotism. Hypnotism also is well known everywhere. The hypnotist, a very expert person, is there. He has mastered the techniques of hypnotism. Of course, hypnotism also is connected with functions of conscious and subconscious mind. But now, in hypnotism, the instructions of that person who has mastered the hypnotism techniques works and not the recorded commentary. But total practice, starting point is relaxation of the body and mind, whether Yoga Nidra or hypnotism. Yoga Nidra, you know the instructions and all that. Hypnotism also is instructing like that only. Your body has become very relaxed and all that. Relax. That is also a keyword for hypnotism also. Relax the body and mind. So this is starting point. This is same in hypnotism and Yoga Nidra. But afterwards, the direction is totally different. Because in hypnotism, the hypnotist takes the full control of the conscious mind of the person who is hypnotized. And then he goes on in giving instruction to that person, and person starts following all the instructions very blindly. Person doesn't know what he is doing, but he is giving and following the instructions physically also. You might have seen the experiments of this hypnotism. These people, they make public show also, maybe for 3-4 hours. That hypnotist calls some of the persons from the audience only, then hypnotize them. Of course, all are not hypnotized, some of them are hypnotized. So that hypnotized persons and the hypnotist, they continue the program. When the person is hypnotized, that hypnotist give him the instruction, maybe right or wrong. They just follow it. As seen in one program, there is a person maybe about 60-70 years old. He was hypnotized. Then he was instructed that you are a child of 2 years and you are given a milk bottle to drink, and you are drinking this very comfortably. And actually he was given the milk bottle to drink. And that person, 60-70 years old, lying down on his back, just like a kid, just like a baby, and drinking that water, drinking that milk, with the bottle. So he was behaving as per the instructions. This does not happen in Yoga Nidra. I made it clear that whatever result we expect, that must be mentally accepted by the person before starting Yoga Nidra. Suppose that you want to get relief from the smoking, you have to make a Yoga Nidra for that. And a particular person wants to make use of that Yoga Nidra. Then first we have to tell him that this Yoga Nidra works on smoking. So you have to leave smoking. Are you ready to leave smoking? The person says, yes, I want to leave this smoking, but I cannot because my mind is forcing me to smoke again and again. But I want to get relief from that. So he has to accept the target of Yoga Nidra, and then he can practice Yoga Nidra, and then he will get the result. Suppose the person says, I don't want to leave smoking, I like it very much and I want to continue forever, whatever the results are there. And then if you give Yoga Nidra to him to practice, the result will not be achieved at all. Because mentally he has confirmed that he don't want to leave it. Then Yoga Nidra cannot force him to leave. If you want to leave smoking and then he cannot leave it, there is some obstruction of the mind that can be overtaken by Yoga Nidra. So that is how the difference in hypnotism and Yoga Nidra. So now I think it may be clear to you that what is the difference. Hypnotism is forceful command on the mind. And for that, a presence of hypnotist is required. Hypnotism cannot be achieved through the recorded commentary. The expert hypnotist must be there. If he is quite experienced and having full knowledge of hypnotism, then he can hypnotize the person, no other person. And he cannot record his commentary and give the person and do it. No, not possible. Because the person, when he is hypnotized, he loses a total control over his body and mind. In that way, he is not awake as a person. He becomes rather I can say, slave of the hypnotist. And what a hypnotist says, he just follows. After the effect of hypnotism is over, if you ask that person what you have done, he doesn't remember also. That is, whatever has done in hypnotism is not stored in subconscious mind. Of course, there are some instructions specifically given to that person to remember. Those are stored in subconscious mind. In one similar program, the hypnotist told the people who are hypnotized that you have to come at the same place tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And hypnotism is over, and next day all of them came to the same place at 12 o'clock. They don't know why they came and how they came. They just came there. Well, just instruction was stored in subconscious mind. But all other things, those were not stored in subconscious mind. Only hypnotist took over the control over the mind, given some instructions, they followed that particular time, and afterwards they have forgotten everything. So likewise, hypnotism is all forceful through the hypnotist, and Yoga Nidra is willful. That is the basic difference. That is why there is no bad side effect of Yoga Nidra. But there are many side effects of hypnotism. Because mind becomes weak and weak after the hypnotic condition. In Yoga Nidra, mind becomes stronger and stronger. In addition, Yoga Nidra removes all negativity, bad thoughts. So we can say cleaning of the mind. That is not there in hypnotism and all that. Hypnotism is just to make some show, and so to some extent, hypnotism works permanently also. If the proper instructions are given by the hypnotist in hypnotic condition, then those instructions can be stored, as I explained earlier, in the subconscious mind, and they work afterward. But it can be negative also. So the total result depends on the hypnotist and his intention. The intention of the person to be hypnotized, no value. But in Yoga Nidra, that is the most important thing. The person accepts everything in the starting point, then Yoga Nidra works. Otherwise, it will not work. That is the basic difference in hypnotism and Yoga Nidra. And as I already told, that hypnotist is required. He must be quite learned person for hypnotism. In Yoga Nidra, just pre-recorded commentary will work. And one more interesting point, which normally nobody explains. Weak-minded persons can be hypnotized very easily, whereas strong-minded cannot. Actually, it is told reverse way. Those who have got a strong mind, they are hypnotized. No, it is not like that. Strong-minded persons cannot be hypnotized. Because they decide, I don't want to listen to the instructions of hypnotism. So they are never hypnotized. It is not that hypnotist will hypnotize all of persons. No. Some selected persons. And that I say it is weak-minded persons are hypnotized immediately. And afterwards also their mind becomes more and more weak. That is the basic difference. Yoga Nidra, no question about that. So Yoga Nidra has got all positive results provided the person is accepting all those things in the beginning. So we can make his subconscious mind to accept, otherwise not. And in Yoga Nidra, the person is quite aware, conscious mind, subconscious mind. Only brain is bypassed to some extent. But awareness is there, full awareness is there. In hypnotism, there is no awareness. They lost the awareness totally and follow the instructions of the hypnotist. In hypnotism, there is one part that is self-hypnotism. That is, the person has to hypnotize himself or herself and make some changes. So I can say yes, self-hypnotism is something like Yoga Nidra. Because for that also some recorded commentary is there and it works. So there is some similarity between Yoga Nidra and self-hypnotism. But Yoga Nidra is designed by Paramahansa Swami Satyananda Saraswati with some yogic techniques connected with that. Those yogic techniques are not connected in self-hypnotism also. Self-hypnotism is organized through the psychological viewpoint. And Yoga Nidra is organized through the yogic viewpoints. So definitely the results are better. So this is how we can compare. Of course, we can go in deep and detail also, but for that you have to study hypnotism also properly. Yoga Nidra you already studied. So I can say those who have already mastered the technique of hypnotism, they can compare by studying Yoga Nidra better. So this is how the comparison, because all other practices, they are far different than Yoga Nidra. These three practices, Shavasana, meditation and hypnotism, is similar to Yoga Nidra, so I explain you the comparative study of it. Other practices are quite different, even asana, pranayam, all these practices are quite different. So we need not compare with them. But these three are similar, so I have tried to explain the differences between these practices. I hope you will be definitely understood. Hari Om.